It was a scorching summer day, the kind that makes you want to dive headfirst into a swimming pool, or failing that, a nice juicy watermelon. For 15-year-old Tommy, the latter seemed like a brilliant idea. He was at a family barbecue, surrounded by the sizzle of burgers and the laughter of relatives. The glistening pink fruit called to him like a siren's song. Tommy had been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 10. He'd gotten pretty good at managing it, or so he thought. He'd done his usual insulin jab before the party. Surely a slice of watermelon couldn't hurt. It was mostly water, right? Wrong. Oh, so very wrong. Within an hour, Tommy felt off. His vision blurred. His mouth felt like the Sahara. His mum noticed his pale face and glassy eyes. She recognized the signs. This wasn't just a sugar high. This was a medical emergency in the making, and all because of a bloody watermelon. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of what was happening to poor Tommy. He was experiencing not one, but two potentially life-threatening conditions: diabetic ketoacidosis, DKA, and hyperosmolar hyperglycemic state, HHS. Dr. Smith, DKA occurs when there's not enough insulin in the body. Without insulin, cells can't use glucose for energy, so they start breaking down fat instead. This produces ketones, which make the blood acidic. Dr. Smith, HHS, on the other hand, is characterized by extremely high blood sugar levels. The body tries to get rid of the excess glucose through urine, leading to severe dehydration. Both conditions can cause confusion, nausea, and in severe cases, coma or death. Tommy was ticking all these boxes. His watermelon adventure had pushed him into a perfect storm of diabetic disaster, and all because his body couldn't process sugar the way it should. Life really isn't fair sometimes, is it? Inside Tommy's body, a biochemical war was raging. His pancreas had long since waved the white flag. Biochemist type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition. Tommy's immune system had destroyed the insulin-producing cells. Without insulin, glucose couldn't enter Tommy's cells. It just kept building up in his bloodstream. Imagine a nightclub with bouncers who've all gone on strike. The guests, glucose, keep piling up outside, causing chaos. Tommy's body started breaking down fat for fuel. This process produces ketones as a byproduct. Too many of them can turn your blood into something resembling vinegar. Now you might be thinking, but watermelon is healthy. It's just fruit, and you'd be right for most people. But for diabetics like Tommy, even seemingly innocent foods can be dangerous. Nutritionist. It all comes down to something called the glycemic index, GI. The GI measures how quickly a food raises blood sugar levels. Foods with a high GI cause rapid spikes. Watermelon, despite its high water content, has a surprisingly high GI. For Tommy, it was the nutritional equivalent of a Trojan horse. Nutritionist diabetics need to be constantly aware of the carbohydrate content of their food. They need to balance their carb intake with their insulin dosage. The irony is that fruits, often touted as nature's candy, can be a diabetic's worst nightmare. They're packed with natural sugars that can send blood glucose levels skyrocketing. The very foods we're told are good for us can be potentially lethal for some. Life's funny like that, isn't it? The endocrine system is like the body's own internal email system. Hormones are the messages, zipping around telling different parts what to do. In Tommy's case, this system had gone haywire.
Insulin is a key player in this hormonal ballet. It's the hormone responsible for letting glucose into cells. Without it, other hormones try to compensate. One of these hormones is glucagon. It's usually insulin's partner, helping to raise blood sugar when it's too low. But in Tommy's case, with his blood sugar already sky high, glucagon was like that friend who keeps buying rounds at the pub when everyone's already plastered.
Other stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline also join the party. They further increase blood sugar and break down more fat, producing more ketones. It's a vicious cycle. Tommy's body was essentially throwing fuel on its own fire, turning a bad situation into a potentially lethal one. By the time Tommy reached the hospital, he was in critical condition. His blood sugar levels were off the charts. His blood was more acidic than a lemon.
The emergency room sprang into action. Nurses inserted IVs, pumping Tommy full of fluids. Doctors ordered a battery of tests. They needed to know exactly what they were dealing with.
The priority was to restore Tommy's fluid balance and lower his blood sugar. They started him on an insulin drip. Slowly but surely, the glucose in his blood began to fall. It was like watching a game of medical Jenga in reverse, carefully rebuilding Tommy's health block by block. But they weren't out of the woods yet. The medical team had to constantly monitor Tommy's electrolyte levels, particularly potassium. Too much or too little could stop his heart. It was a delicate balancing act. One misstep could be fatal, but these medical professionals were like tightrope walkers, cool, calm, and incredibly skilled. Tommy's watermelon misadventure was a wake-up call, not just for him, but for his family and friends too. It highlighted the importance of constant vigilance when dealing with type 1 diabetes. It's not just about avoiding sugar, it's about understanding how different foods affect your body. Early detection is crucial. Tommy's mum recognized the signs of a diabetic emergency. Her quick action probably saved his life. It's vital for diabetics and their loved ones to know the warning signs. Diet and hydration play a massive role in managing diabetes. It's not about completely avoiding certain foods. It's about balance and moderation. Even seemingly healthy foods like fruit need to be consumed carefully. Proper hydration can help prevent dangerous spikes in blood sugar. After his brush with death, Tommy approached his diabetes management with newfound determination. He realized that living well with type 1 diabetes isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. It's about not letting the condition define you, while still giving it the respect it demands. Tommy started working closely with a dietitian. He learned about carb counting and how different foods affect his blood sugar. Exercise became a crucial part of Tommy's routine. Physical activity helped manage his blood sugar and improved his overall health. Most importantly, Tommy learned to be open about his condition. He educated his friends and classmates about type 1 diabetes. Tommy turned his near tragedy into a platform for awareness and education. Please, subscribe now to join our community. Give a thumb to encourage us to bring more interesting, challenging, and high-quality videos to everyone. Our channel Medicine Health 360 has many more videos to bring the crucial, latest, and systemic medical and health knowledge with a simple approach to everyone for better health and a better life. We value your feedback, so share your thoughts in the comments below.